that manufactured Apollo gold pagers and infiltrated Hezbollah for over a decade to prepare for this battle.
But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media.
Because the next war will be decided based on how Israel and its allies perform online as much as offline.
This is the 8th front, the disinformation campaign.
It is actually this 8th front where our enemies believe they can actually defeat the Jewish state.
This is the kind of ingenuity and inventiveness that have always been a hallmark of the state of Israel, that have always been a characteristic of the Jewish people. I know we can do it.
A lot of this is done with money.
Invested billions and billions of dollars in the information battlefield.
Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster.
We prohibit harmful stereotypes about Jewish people, such as claims that Jews control financial, political, or media institutions.
You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them.
We monitor them online, social media, messaging apps, video games, cryptocurrency,
Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters,
podcasts, short-form video, Wikipedia, LLM.
American haters, Churchill haters.
We monitor these people and we share the intelligence with the FBI.
You think your stupid little podcast is going to change the world? Like hell it is.
Social media, this is the new battlefield.
You don't get to wrap your psychotic, mental, unhinged Nazi.
We do not allow Holocaust denial and distortion.
And the most important purchase that is going on right now is
TikTok.
TikTok, number one.
For every 30 minutes that someone watches TikTok, they become 17% more anti-Semitic.
So you have TikTok just smashing our young people's brains all day long with video of carnage in Gaza.
We really have a TikTok problem.
Because anything that we try to say to them, they are hearing it through this wall of carnage, and I sound obscene.
Anti-Zionism is just Jew hatred.
We made a change.
We updated our policies
to designate the use of the term Zionist
to recognize that the term Zionist
as a proxy for a protected attribute
can be used as a proxy for Jews and Israelis.
As hate speech.
Why can't Israel be doing some sort of, counterintelligence?
Right now, the ADL is co-writing Sunday school curriculum.
Information warfare like this.
It's building the technology to train the LLMs more effectively.
Like psychological operations in America.
As part of a robust framework to combat anti-Semitism, we have industry-leading policies designed with the safety of the Jewish community in mind.
You're right, we control the media. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to bitch on Twitter? Like, okay. Meanwhile, we're going to control more of the media.
And working with OpenAI, with Alphabet, with Anthropic, with Meta, with Microsoft, we are working with them now to train the LLMs.
We also have, I think, over 24 Jewish organizations that are constantly feeding us intelligence and information.
So number one, we measure and track. Number two, we monitor and disrupt. We have a whole apparatus. I have 40 analysts working full-time, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, monitoring extremists.
Monitoring campuses, digital networks, activist groups, and public officials.
We have several PhDs on staff. We have a network of academics and scholars we work with around the country.
I've talked to the leaders of AI in the world, and you ask yourself, there's so many blessings in this, but there could be a curse.
First thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model.
We need to invest in intelligence to understand who are the anti-Semites, who's funding them, what's their plans, who are the leaders. And then once we have that, we can define who is an enemy we can attack.
You have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your genomic data. We have to take all of this data we have in our country and move it into a single, if you will, unified data platform.
Once we have all this information, we need to empower and mobilize an ecosystem of many organizations that we can incentivize them to work together, to share, and to fight against our common enemies.
Mobilizing millions of people, of allies that are quietly by our side.
Citizens will be on their best behavior.
because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
You know, anti-Semites, most of these people running around, we're not going to win their hearts and minds because they don't have hearts and they don't have minds. So, you know, how are we going to, there's no reason to think we're ever going to convince them, but we can deport them, we can put them in jail, we can make their lives miserable, we can cut off their funding.
You've got all these conspiracy theorists online going on and on about how, you know, if you try and say anything, if you try and do anything against Jews, they're going to come after you.
We have featured more than 1,000 anti-Semites.
And they're going to destroy you and take away your business, and therefore you have to be really, really scared.
These Jew haters have faced real consequences, including firings, suspensions, and expulsions.
And it's kind of starting to become true.
We will shine a light on you that will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything.
And I love that. I love it.
We remove hate speech against Zionists when these harmful stereotypes about Jews are invoked.
In the past 12 months, ADL's filed more lawsuits than in the prior 112 years.
Over the weekend, I received concerning news that I was being sued for $5 million.
Vicious, communist, racist, Jew-hating, Israel-bashing monster.
Defendant frequently posts anti-Israel rhetoric accusing Israel of controlling the United States and its politicians.
We at the ZOA will fight these dangerous and monstrous lies with all of our hearts and souls. No appeasement, no conciliation, only a war against this racist hatred of the Jewish people.
When there is a war, it doesn't matter who your enemy is. You need to destroy their offspring to prevent them from creating more offspring.
What you try to do is you want to corral your victim, but in fact, your countries are the victim. So you dehumanize a group of people in human society, and you prepare them for the kill, for the butchery.
A government can do in 2 months more than any organization can do in its lifetime.
The J7 is comprised of the 7 largest diaspora communities. We meet every other week via Zoom to share information, to share best practices.
And we're running everything all the time, from focus groups to attitudinal surveys to randomized controlled trials to identify what interventions work most effectively.
Finally, we have meetings that are some off the record, some on the record with world leaders, in which we share our community's concerns and call for action.
The entire education system in this country, from K through 12 and colleges, must be reformed.
But it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it.
The way we solve anti-Semitism is pretty goddamn simple.
Take control over what they are saying.
Send their ass to jail. It's not complicated.
And quickly before it's too late.
We're monitoring political Islamists and Christian nationalists, all of them. And then we train. We're the largest trainer of law enforcement in America. Extremism hate. We train 20,000 officers every year.
Try that again.
Here because of the comments made online about the Jewish community.
We deeply value our partnership with law enforcement. We've been working with them literally since the FBI was founded in the 1930s.
Is that your account?
That guy who consistently calls for the death of all Palestinians, that can probably incite somebody to do something radical. That's all we're here to talk about. I would think, to refrain from posting things like that.
We are going to have a whole division within the office of the Special Envoy to combat anti-Semitism that is going to work on technology.
We must take all of our technological expertise and all of our available resources to develop methods to launch and win a significant counter-information campaign.
The products of our technical capacities and sometimes technical and intelligence genius, and we're happy to do it.
The office is going to be revamped entirely to be one of the highest profile offices in the State Department.
Because it's not working. Too many young people have never heard of the Holocaust.
The only solution right now is for the governments to decide that all the Jews are a protected minority. That means that the government will be obliged to provide the security.
Upgrades to security. Jewish community shouldn't have to be paying for it. We have to pay for our own armed guards? Are you serious?
To fund institutions, culture, and that everybody in Europe will learn about the Jewish contribution and why they should cherish Jewish presence.
All your synagogues, all your shuls, all paid for, everything. Everything that you need is paid for. I, for one, as a Jewish leader, will no longer talk about anti-Semitism in isolation from Israel. It's what we want immediately. If you ask any Jew, what do you want? What do you want? No more protests. No more protests.
I'm not an anti-Semite. I just don't like the government of Bibi Netanyahu. No, you're a Jew hater.
Would a group be banned if it accuses Israel of genocide or apartheid?
If those criteria are satisfied, then that is the case.
Any candidate running for a seat in this building, whether for Congress or Senate, we will target them as they target us. Accordingly, we will start a fund to help their opponents.
Beginning already in Q1, hedge funds get set up in Israel so we can become another capital of finance. I'll argue we will beat London within a short decade as the second capital of finance. It's going to be New York as a gateway to America, Hong Kong a gateway to China, Dubai a gateway to Southeast Asia, and Israel as a gateway to other parts of the world.
So we heard earlier about a mission, a goal to bring 1 million immigrants to Israel.
History has proven that when a country starts with allowing anti-Semitism, the results are not kind to that country.
I want to make a warning to somebody else, and that's American Gentiles. The minute your country is taken over by anti-Semitism, the minute you start to be a country that's not blessing Israel but cursing Israel, you have begun the process of shrinking away from your empire.
And you can decide, you can stay here in New York in a declining empire, or you can come to Israel, which is part of the rising middle of the world, which is moving south and east. That's what I encourage you to do.
Our faith in the American project itself has been shaken. The only serious answer to this challenge is to believe again that being Jewish is the most important thing in the world.
When we're kicked out of America and America, the whole thing is done, the whole American Jewish project is done, we're gonna be fine.
For decades, American society allowed Jews to live normal lives. This was a pleasant holiday from our destiny. The holiday is over.
The Western culture that stands against the Jews is going down. The West will survive only if it decides to love itself and if it decides to love us, the Jewish people.
The Jewish people are not normal. We never really were.
And now that Israel has turned the entire geopolitical situation on its head, our job in the diaspora is to leverage those wins and win here. Do to our enemies here what Israel did to its enemies there.
And to the world, I say this: history will not remember those who merely denounced hatred in polite language. History will remember those who acted.
This is a small bunch of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are.
Anti-Semitism is pure evil.
If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades, we will find your identities, we will find you, we will achieve justice.
I think we're at the cusp of a new age, because I think that we will achieve the expansion of peace. I think that we are in a new age because I think that the possibilities of technology, with their risks, especially in AI, but with their positive benefits, are enormous in every field. I mean, from agriculture to health to transportation and I think that we are together, we can lead this and become not a secondary power, but a primary power.
Well, welcome in to Straight Talk, episode 17. Wow, can't believe we're already on episode 17. Can you guys believe that? Been since October. Man, it's been a few months. We are on episode 17 of Straight Talk. Welcome in, everybody. It's Friday the 13th. What a great intro video there to start the show with, especially for Friday the 13th. Big show tonight. Lots to get into, especially concerning Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. And even just wanted to point out from that video, when the different clips that they were playing, we saw one of the guys, he was saying, we will target them, we will hunt them down, we will primary them, we will run campaigns against them. And just so you know, that was the father-in-law of Kevin Warsh, which we've talked about on the show before. But Kevin Warsh is actually Trump's Fed chair pick. And that was his father-in-law talking to some, I think, Jewish Congress or something like that. So very interesting. Lots to get into tonight, like I said, regarding Benjamin Netanyahu, regarding Israel. It's going to be a shorter show tonight, hopefully. I say that a lot, say that all the time, but lots happening this week. Lots going on. Before we get into that, though, be sure to smash the like button down below, smash the follow button, hit the subscribe button, follow button, whichever platform you're on. If you're on Rumble, follow, YouTube, subscribe, X, follow, all the things. Be sure to support us via a super chat. Really appreciate the donations. We've gotten some super chats before. Throw some super chats in, and you'll have a donation banner pop up here. You can throw in for any amount, $1, $2, $5, $10, doesn't matter, and it'll pop up there for you. Love to hear from you. Be sure to engage in the live chat. Got the live chat pulled up in front of me. I'll be reacting to the live chat as well, engaging with you all there. And we also have set up for PayPal. I set up a PayPal for Straight Talk, for not just the podcast, but for Straight Talk Productions as a whole. Because as you all know, or may not know, but we have produced our own video on the fraud investigation that we'll get a little bit into today on the Somali fraud. Talk a little bit about Somali fraud in our video later on in the show. But right now, I ask you to share the stream with 2 friends. Click that share button down below. Send it out to a group chat. Share it with 2 friends right now. We want to be able to get in as many people as we can before we hit the hot topic of Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. Want to make sure we get the viewership up. I know lots of folks were asking me about that. Want to get into everything that happened with Benjamin Netanyahu this week, visiting the U.S., as well as everything that's happening with Israel, Iran, the war, all the things with Israel. Well, before we get into the show, just want to say we have started our own generational run for Straight Talk. So thanks to you guys, thanks to your support, not just here on Rumble, everyone on YouTube, even on TikTok and X especially. Can't thank you guys enough for the support. Got our generational run that has begun. We've had 2 radio appearances in the last couple weeks. As you know, before we were invited to the Capitol, we visited the Capitol. Lots of fun stuff that's been happening. I actually was also able to just speak at our local Republican Party, their committee meeting. They invited me there to talk about my local campaign, running, and they wanted to have me speak so they could look at potentially endorsing me for my campaign, as well as donating. So thanks to the Republican Party here in Franklin County. We also have an upcoming event in March where I'll be speaking at. Very excited about that in Washington, Missouri, at an event at, it's under We the Free People. So I'll be speaking there in March. So we've got a lot going on. Like I said, it's a generational run for the Straight Talk podcast. See a bunch of people joining in. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, let's see those American flags in the chat. I want to see everyone throw some American flags in the chat right now. We're talking about the generational run that we've got for Straight Talk. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to all the people in the chat right now. I couldn't have done this alone. It's not just me. Nick is to thank as well. Let's hear it up for Nick in the chat, too. The greatest producer of all time. The GOAT. Nick. America first, baby. Thankful for him. Steve, you're hilarious. I saw that. We're going to be... Something I've been talking about with some of the viewers recently is a shift in how we're going to start trying to put a little bit more positivity. We're not going to stray away from the facts. We're not going to stray away from what's really going on in the world, but we want to make sure we're putting some positive messages out there in the world. We want to put some positivity out in the world with all the negativity that's already been going on. And so thanks to you guys again for the generational run. The biggest announcement that I have for you guys that will continue this generational run, like I said, I'm speaking next month in March, but this Monday night from 4 to 6 p.m., your boy is going to be guest hosting on Real Talk Radio. I got my own spot guest hosting for one of the hosts, Ryan Hines. He's having a kid, and so he's going to be out on paternity leave, and the owners of the radio station called me, talked to me, and asked if I would feel comfortable hosting his 2-hour show on Monday night. So Straight Talk is taking over the radio. That's because of you guys. I mean, I can't believe I'm in my house, in my little office in the back of my house, started streaming in October, and now Straight Talk is taking over the radio. We're going to be talking about some of the stuff maybe we'll be talking about some of the stuff we'll be covering here tonight, but we'll be talking about some new stuff on the show on Monday night. But it's 4 to 6 p.m. Central Time on the Real Talk Radio Network. I'll be sure to put it on X. Make sure, if you're not already, follow me on X. It's going to pop up here somewhere. But at Isaiah Ascher, follow me on X so that you stay up to date all week long. Not only on these shows that I'm getting invited to host, but also just on all the happenings throughout the week. I am putting out, maybe 10 to 15 posts a day on X. I'm replying to DMs. So, yeah, shout out to Straight Talk Radio. That's right. We are out here. So I would love for everyone here tonight, please join in to the stream. They do stream it on X and on Facebook and on Rumble. So really, really want to make sure that we get the Straight Talk audience over there. Now, it's radio, so we got to be a little more filtered, I guess you could say, a little restrained. Not super restrained. They're not as bad as some radio stations, but can't go as hard as maybe we can go on the show sometimes. And so, again, the generational run has begun for Straight Talk Podcast, taking over the radio. We are taking over events, speaking at events, and I want to see, actually, maybe I went full Mog mode on them, full Chad is what you could say, on these folks. Did I not post it on my Facebook? Here we go. Okay. Oh, it's on my, I posted it on my campaign Facebook page. I think I'll be able to share it because I'm streaming through OBS. Let's see here. Oh, wrong. Let's see. Let's put this over here so you guys can see. So I just wanted to show you guys this beautiful picture. I'm sure everyone's going to appreciate this. Let's see. There we go. Full Chad mode. Moggin on them right there at the Republican Party committee meeting. Your boy, full Chad, full new haircut. Also, you guys like the new haircut? What do you think? Let me know what you think. New cut. Just full Chad mode on him. Can you see? You see those? Do you guys see? You guys see those? Look! Oh my gosh, Nick, you're hilarious. But yeah, had to go out there and show them who the Chad is. Taking over the Franklin County Republican Party. We are taking over all fronts here. Straight Talk Podcast. So thanks to you guys. Really, really excited to get into the show. Again, we got a lot to get into. We're going to be covering. Let's run through the lineup here. So we'll be talking a little bit about President Trump. Just a win. We want to acknowledge the wins where we have the wins, because last week we were talking about how we weren't winning. So there's some wins to talk about. Not a lot of wins, but small wins that we can talk about. We'll be talking about Senator Hawley. Let's hear it in the chat, Kurt, for Senator Hawley. Know you're a big, big fan. I'm a big fan after this clip that we'll watch today from Senator Hawley obliterating the Attorney General of Minnesota, Attorney General Ellison. Then we'll be going over the Pam Bondi hearing the disastrous hearing, as I think. It's some people may not think that, but as I think, and then we'll be wrapping up the show with the most important headline, and that's Israel. We'll be talking about Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to America. I think it's his 7th visit since President Trump has been in the White House. His visit is a short visit. We'll see what he says about the visit, react to that, and then we also talk about Israel joining the Board of Peace. You remember when we talked about that a couple weeks ago, and how I was saying when we were reacting live, not sure how to really feel about the Board of Peace, but we didn't think, as we always, we don't want to just believe the narrative, but we didn't believe what they were telling us at Davos, obviously, when they were telling us how this is going to be a great thing. We're going to be rebuilding Gaza. Look at our smart city. It just didn't smell right. Didn't pass the sniff test. And so we'll be talking a little bit about the Board of Peace, and Israel has now joined the Board of Peace. And is this, end times prophecy fulfillment? Are we in the end of the age? Are these the end days? There's prophecies just like this. So we won't get too much into that, but we'll be talking about the Board of Peace. And then, of course, we'll be doing the Left-Wing Lunatics, everyone's favorite segment, where we just look at some crazy left-wing lunatic clips and react to them just to laugh, make light of it, have some fun. And we will be doing a little bit longer segment today for Faith in the Fire. I'm very excited about this because we'll be taking a look at an extended clip, a couple-minute clip of Wes Huff. If you guys don't know who Wes Huff is, Weshuff. That's two F's as in Frank at the end. Wes Huff is a PhD student, and he works for Apologetics Canada, Canadian, unfortunately. But he is one of the leading scholars and historians of biblical history that I've ever found. He is famous for his debate with Billy Carson. And so he was recently on the Sean Ryan show, talking about all kinds of stuff, the Book of Enoch and things like that. And we'll be diving into a clip from his interview and how it can encourage you, the viewer, how it can encourage me and everyone who's watching. So we'll be getting into that and more here on Straight Talk. Again, we are on episode 17. Can you believe it? Episode 17 of Straight Talk. And it's Friday the 13th. So without further ado, let's get into the show. All right, well, like I said, I want to start with some wins from President Trump because there hasn't been too many wins from the administration recently. And if you ask me, that is, not a lot of wins that I've seen. Last week, we even played the funny clip of President Trump saying, "You're going to be tired of winning. You're going to win so much. You're going to be tired of it. All we can do is win." And behind him was the graphic that was made of all the $1 trillion in losses that we experienced within the stock market. And so we want to acknowledge the failures or shortcomings of the administration. But again, we also want to acknowledge the wins of the administration because the Bible tells us in 1 Peter to honor the emperor. And what that means is honor the person in charge. And so that's whether we agree or not, whether they're a Democrat or a Republican, we want to honor them in the way we can. And we don't want to look hard for wins, but we want to acknowledge the wins when they do come to fruition. So this week, I'll share my screen here, but this week we saw President Trump deliver another inflation win, as it says there in the headline. The left's doom and gloom predictions on tariffs and the economy have really been busted. We had January CPI cooled to a 2.4%, the lowest it's been in a while, and it's better than the projections. The projections were 2.5%, 0.1% better. And so anytime we can beat the projections, that is it's a win, without any better language that I can think of right now. It's a big win when you can beat the projections of the inflation projections. And so we also saw, not just with the inflation projections, we also saw that jobs got added. Around 130,000 jobs actually were added, with unemployment dipping. So taking a look here as Nick is scrolling through this White House press release, it says, let me see if I can read it. Wages are growing faster than prices, putting more money in American pockets. Real average hourly earnings for all private sector workers rose in January, up 1.2% over the past year for middle and lower wage workers. That is who we need to have their wages raised up. And that's what I was talking with Nick about earlier. You see the folks here that they're adding wages to: mining workers, construction workers, manufacturing workers. All this is good stuff. Now, the problem that we can run into is that we have our foot on the gas, but President Trump is starting to take his foot off the gas as he is pivoting recently, like we talked about, from talking about illegal immigrants that we're deporting, and now we're only focusing on criminal immigrants, folks who have violent crimes. When anyone who's crossed the border illegally is a criminal, Mr. President. That is a crime under U.S. code. It's illegal. And so what we need to see is, yes, wages are growing faster. Yes, jobs are growing. Yes, inflation is slowing down. But housing market is still a little bit of a mess. Groceries are still expensive. Gas prices are not as low as they're talking about. And so while we have these wins that we do want to acknowledge, we also have to acknowledge the areas where we're falling short. And the biggest area where we're going to fall short if we don't prioritize it is the immigrants, the illegal immigrants. And so I'll go back to my camera, Nick, sorry. If we don't deport these illegal immigrants, then all of this is going to be for nothing, because they're just going to take our jobs back. They're going to continue to come into the country. They're going to continue to get federally subsidized loans. They're going to take your jobs. They're going to get on welfare benefits, because if you think that that's going to stop, just wait until the 2026, these primaries, these midterms, wait until after that. And then when the Democrats have control again, they're just going to roll all those cuts back. They're going to implement them again. I see the chat here. It came out that they eat babies, and the fact that people aren't in the street protesting says everything you need to know. 100%. You guys seen the clip? Let me know in the chat. You guys seen the clip of the lady a while ago who disappeared, and she's just saying, they eat babies. They're eating flesh. And she's just screaming. People think she's crazy. It reminds me of the Pizzagate, where people thought everyone was crazy until all this evidence starts coming out. Now that all this evidence is starting to come out, what do you know? Everyone's apologizing to the conspiracy theorists. Very, very, very interesting. Speaking of conspiracy theorists, a little bit off subject here, but one of the things of the generational run that we were talking about, the Straight Talk generational run, I actually got to meet Mark McCloskey. So maybe I can pull it up here too, my picture with him. Mark McCloskey, if you guys don't know who Mark McCloskey is, I'll show you a picture here in a second. I'm just trying to find the photo. Here we go. So Mark McCloskey is a lawyer here in Missouri, and he is defending the J6ers. So this is me with Mark McCloskey, and you might recognize him from this picture. This is when the BLM riots were happening, and you had essentially domestic terrorists storming into their neighborhood and trying to go after them, trying to trespass on their property. And so it was really cool to meet Mark McCloskey. He was talking also the same event that I was speaking at. He was speaking because he defends over 500 J6ers. And he's trying to help the folks that were wrongly prosecuted to get compensatory damages, because there's folks that were very wealthy, that were multimillionaires, that were now living in their car because the federal government came after them. And so Mark McCloskey is doing God's work. I loved talking to him. He aligns a lot with everything that we talk about here. He was criticizing President Trump at the Republican Party meeting, which is pretty funny. And he, what else? What was I? And someone that he won't defend, for example, is Jake Lang. And so I appreciated that about him, because I'm not a fan of Jake Lang. I think he's a little too in your face, trying to create dissension. I think he's a psyop, potentially Mossad, trying to create the disunity that the entire uniparty wants, right? This is really what they want, is they want us to have this civil war against each other, fighting one-on-one, Democrats versus Republicans. Oh, we hate each other, right? And so I thought that was pretty cool, one, to meet him, but also two, that he kind of aligns with a lot that we talk about here on the show. So before we get into our next segment, just want to say, be sure to like the stream. I see we got a few people that are joining us. Like the stream, smash the like button. Let's see where you're joining in the live chat below. Want to see where you're joining in from. Also, click that share button. Share this out with some friends. But they can cancel your accounts, freeze your cards, decide what you're allowed to buy, say, or support. Big banks and financial institutions have total control, and they use it. That's why financial independence matters more now than ever. Introducing Rumble Wallet, a wallet built for real freedom. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company. Buy digital assets like Tether, Tether Gold, and Bitcoin in one secure place. No permission, no middleman, no cancel button. And when you want to support the creators you actually believe in, you can use the Rumble Wallet app to directly tip content creators. Securely, instantly, and without interference. This isn't a credit line they can shut off. It's your wallet permanently. Yours to protect your future. Yours to protect your family. When the system fails, when institutions turn on their own people, financial sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. Rumble Wallet isn't about politics, it's about freedom, ownership, and protecting what's yours. So take control today. Download Rumble Wallet now and step away from the big banks for good. True ownership, true protection, true financial freedom. Rumble Wallet. Be sure to download that now. If you're on Rumble, you can tip me actually right below, right there. You can tip me using the Rumble Wallet app. We've got it set up for the Straight Talk Productions. Thanks to Rumble Wallet for supporting the stream. Appreciate that very, very much. Well, this first segment, second segment, I guess, that we'll really get into besides the Trump wins hits really close to home for me personally, because I live in Missouri, and our own Missouri Senator Josh Hawley absolutely, completely obliterated the Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison for refusing to prosecute massive Somali-linked fraud schemes, as we've seen playing out in the news. He was even taking contributions from these folks that are getting prosecuted. So, taking direct contributions from these key players involved in the fraud. And he's also enabling, by not prosecuting, continuing to enable billions of dollars in taxpayer losses in this fraud. And so we saw Senator Hawley called him out. He called for an indictment of the Attorney General and his resignation. So this resonates with us, obviously, here on the show because of our own Somali fraud story that we have. And so want to watch this clip from Senator Hawley, and then we'll react to it, talk a little bit about it, and want to hear what you guys think as well. Let's check this out.
Mr. Ellison, let me start with you. You're the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota. Do I have that correct? That's a yes?
Sir, you're aware of my job. You know the answer to that.
You're not going to answer my questions? Are we going to start this way? Are you the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota, yes or no?
You know the answer.
Mr. Ellison, you're in my courtroom now. You're under oath. So I suggest that you answer my questions. You the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the state of Minnesota, yes or no? Let's try another question. Are you familiar with the $9 billion in historic fraud out of your state, including the $250 million in the Feeding Our Future program alone? You familiar with that? Don't turn to the pages in your book to get your potted answers. Are you familiar with it? Yes or no?
Yes, I am familiar with it.
Very familiar, aren't you? Because the people who ran the Feeding Our Futures program came to you in your official office in the state capitol December 11th, 2021, and asked for your help in getting investigators off their backs. They complained to you for upwards of an hour about state investigators going after them, and they begged you to help them, and you agreed to it, amazingly. And we know you did.
That's not
because
true.
It's all caught on tape.
Yeah,
Every single sentence is caught on tape. Here's what you said. Let's take a look.
Obviously, you didn't listen
said,
to the
it's not a question. You said to them, send me the names of all these folks who are investigating them. You said to them, send me their names. And I'll take that list and I'll call the person over at Education who's investigating them and say, what's going on? Why am I getting these complaints? Then he went on to say, I already have my team working on this. What day should we get together to discuss it again? You made pledge after pledge to them. You said, we've got to make sure this guy who's investigating them stops it. You said, you have my attention. I'm concerned about this. You said, let's go fight these people, meaning the people who were investigating the fraud. Why'd you do it? Why'd you help them?
Are you going to let me answer?
Please, we're all ears.
So first of all, you're cherry picking quotes out of there.
Why did you help them?
I thought you were going to let me answer.
Why did you
help? Are you going to let me answer?
Why did you help
You
them?
let me answer and I'll answer you.
Tell the truth and I'll let you answer.
I will tell the truth.
Good.
Let's do that.
That'd be a nice change. Why'd you help them?
Now see, Mr. Chairman, I didn't come here to be insulted. I came here voluntarily.
You came here for the truth. Let's have it. Why did you help them? The quotes are here. They're in black and white, and every member of this audience can listen to the recording. It's 54 minutes long. It's all in public. You can Google it right now and listen to it.
And listen to it all.
Why'd you help them?
First of all, I didn't help them.
You did help them.
No, I did not. I certainly didn't.
You're saying you didn't do anything for them. You didn't.
Well, wait a minute.
I already have my team working on this again. That's not you?
I have my team assisted with the information that led to the prosecution and conviction of these people.
No, you didn't. You didn't lift a finger to prosecute them. No, you did not.
No, because it was a federal prosecution.
You had, BS. You had whistleblowers come to you as early as 2019.
You're the one talking BS.
Hey, listen, it's my time.
Doesn't know what you're talking about, sir.
No, sir. You now have encountered the truth and you don't like it. Why'd you take their money? Why'd you take their money?
I didn't.
You took $10,000.
No, that's a false statement.
$10,000 9 days after the meeting.
False statement.
You took $10,000. Here's what happened. They went to your office. They solicited money from you. They solicited help from you.
That's also wrong.
They came to your office. It was your official office. You met with them for 54 minutes.
No,
they asked you for help. You pledged it to them, and they talked repeatedly about money. In fact, it's all they talked about. Money, 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 money. They said, we will put our dollars in the right place. We will support candidates that will fight to protect our interests. You replied, that's right. They said, if you are securing your donor base and securing your power base, you can act the way you want. You replied, money is freedom. They said the amount of money circulating, I'm reading the transcript, the amount of money circulating in our community today is powerful, and we haven't realizing it in a meaningful way. And you said, give me the specifics. And 9 days later, you took $10,000 from people who were then indicted. It's in your reports. Why'd you do it?
Sir,
was it worth it?
You know what? This is a theatrical performance.
This is the truth. This is what accountability looks like, of which you've had none. You helped fraudsters defraud your state and this government of $9 billion, and you got a fat campaign contribution out of it. You ought to be indicted.
True. Well,
that's the truth.
I think we've made the point. Let's keep the tenor.
Well,
just
for the record,
I'll ask how I want
he's lying, and that's the truth.
Oh no, this is all on the record,
sir.
Did you bother Did you bother to investigate where the money that you facilitated their fraud for, where it went? Do you know where it went, what it was used for, the fraudulent money? I do, because we just heard testimony about it yesterday.
Because we were key players in the
hundreds of millions of dollars to terrorist groups, to transnational criminal organizations, to the drug trade, to drug trafficking, to child trafficking. And you took $10,000
That's a lie.
And helped them do it. You know, the other thing is, whistleblowers came to you as early as 2019. Let's look. As early as 2019, whistleblower. Don't talk over me.
No,
as early as 2019, it's my hearing, pal. As early as 2019,
don't call me
whistleblowers came to. Well, I should call you prisoner because you ought to be in jail.
Well, see what you can do.
In 2019, whistleblowers came to you in your office and referred to you fraud allegations from Feeding Our Futures, and you blew them off. Listen, your own state newspaper
That's a lie.
investigated it. The Minnesota Star Tribune, the Partners in Nutrition, brought its concerns to the Attorney General's office in 2018 and in 2019, and you did nothing. You did nothing for years. The only action you took is, once all these fraudsters came to your office and asked you to get involved and offered you money, then you got involved. Then you took the money, and then you got involved.
They did not come to my office. You're completely wrong about that.
You met with them
I did
for
not take anybody's
54
money.
minutes, and you took $10,000, and they also gave your family money. They gave your family thousands of dollars in campaign contributions in addition to what they gave
false
you.
Statement.
Let's put the
this is completely untrue.
The New York Post.
Yeah, we know the New York Post.
Minnesota Keith Ellison, AG, accepted campaign donations from individuals linked to the $250 million COVID fraud scheme after they were in your office. The donations came on December 20th.
Sir,
you met with them on December the 11th, and on January 20th, the FBI knocked over their headquarters.
No.
That's the sequence of events here.
No, it's not.
You've been right at the center of this fraud thing from the beginning, and you've enabled it. And sir, you should resign.
And sir, you should resign. I was thinking the same thing about you.
Should resign.
Wow. Talk about a heated hearing with Senator Hawley there.
I didn't even see all that.
It's pretty incredible, right? It's I mean, I see Steve in the chat saying he hadn't seen it either. Excuse me. But not only did Senator Hawley absolutely destroy him, my hearing, pal. Listen up, buddy. You're in my courtroom now, bucko. He said, I should call you a prisoner. He said, oh, come on, try. So, I mean, I could tell you, you don't want to try Senator Hawley because if you guys have been watching the show, we just talked about Jeffrey Winehouse. And something that I didn't like about Senator Hawley is he's the one who convicted Jeffrey Winehouse and the reason he's in prison. But that just shows you don't want to mess with him because Jeffrey Winehouse didn't even do anything wrong and he's been in prison for 13 years, doing a 30-year sentence. And so, man, dude, you don't want to, helping terrorists. That's where all the fraud, that's where a lot of that money went, was to go help Al-Shabaab. Look up that name, Al-Shabaab, S-H-A, I think it's either A-A-B-A-B or A-B-A-A-B. Al-Shabaab terrorist group. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is that there's a lot of terrorist groups in Somalia. And that's where a lot of this money's going to. And if you haven't heard what was happening at least 2 times every week is what a TSA agent said. Millions of dollars, 2 Somali guys would fly out to Somalia with millions of dollars in their suitcase and take it out, and it would never come back to the United States. It was all fraudulent money that's just leaving our country. And that's what Senator Hawley's trying to get to the bottom of here. Not just in Minnesota. It's just a stepping stone, I guess you could say, to what's really going on around the entire country in Washington, Oregon, Ohio, Maine, Illinois, and as we've seen here in Missouri, in St. Louis, we've even seen our own video that we covered the Somali fraud here in St. Louis. We're actually going back out on Tuesday. Me and Joseph will be hitting the streets again, going to a building that has over a dozen, that's right, over a dozen home healthcare companies that have been registered there. They received, in this building, all the businesses received over $880,000 in PPP loans during COVID. 30 PPP loans went to this building, went to this address. 26 of those PPP loans that we found were for home healthcare businesses. Why do you need 26 PPP loans for your home healthcare business? Why do we need dozens of home healthcare businesses in the same address? Is there a epidemic of old people who can't take care of themselves or something? Is that something that we need to look into, Nick? Do we need to start a home healthcare business? Is this a problem that we need to solve in the world? These people are just helpless in their home. We need someone to come in and take care of me. I need a Somalian to come and help me go to the bathroom and wipe my butt, feed me some food. Apparently, they need a lot of them. So we'll be covering more. We'll be doing our part 2 of our Somali investigation, talking a little bit more about what we found. So Tuesday, we're hitting the streets, and we've got our video out now. If you haven't seen it yet, go on Rumble, on X, YouTube. It's on all of our platforms. The St. Louis Somali fraud, you can find it there. If you haven't seen it yet, if someone wants to throw it in the chat, feel free. But on top of that, just want to piggyback off the Somali fraud. Nick, if you could pull up that. Oh, I see. Dude, you're already on it, man. Give it up for Nick in the chat. Just got to give it up for Nick. Greatest producer of all time. On it, locked in. And before we go to this, we really just have to give a shout out to one of our earliest founding listeners, one of our founding members of the Straight Talk audience. Treyway is what we call him. Treyway's birthday is today. Treyway birthday. So we're just gonna, if you can join me, Nick, let's see, unmute Nick, and everyone in the chat, if you can join me, say happy birthday, Trey, in the chat right now. We're going to do a little happy birthday song for Trey, okay? We're going to sing to Trey, Nick. You ready?
Yeah, I'm going to let you start. Go ahead.
I'll start. You just back me up on this, okay? Ready? Happy birthday to you. Nick muted himself. What the hell? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Trey. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Trey. There we go. We get in the chat. I think he's at an engagement party right now, so I don't think he's able to join, but he will watch it back. I know he always does. So let's see it in the chat. Throw it in the comments later, too, if you're watching this back. Happy birthday, Trey, in the chat. One of my best friends, one of the most godly men in my life, holds me accountable in my Bible study every week with me, texting me Bible verses, praying for me, calling me, encouraging me. We keep each other accountable. So thankful. Yes, Warren's birthday is tomorrow, I believe. Is that correct? If I'm remember, today's the 13th, right? Yeah, so Warren's birthday is tomorrow. Oh, well then, a double birthday stream calls for 2 back-to-back singings of the happy birthday song then. And let's see the chat start going crazy for War Dog. War Dog, if you're in the chat, if he's not, someone get him in here. Get him in here. I want to see, before we start singing, let's see Warren starts. I want to see Warren in the chat. We got to get him in here on the stream to watch before we can sing happy birthday to him. Someone get him in. Get him in here right now. We want to sing happy birthday to him. While we're waiting for Warren, we're going to throw to this clip of Scott, the Secretary Bessent, I think is how you say his last name, Secretary of Treasury Bessent, Scott Bessent, talking about something really cool that I'm excited about, and I think you'll understand why.
Treasury is finance.
Well, wait, sorry, 1 second, Nick. Sorry, I'm still setting it up, but I think you're going to understand why I'm excited, because he is talking about rewarding those who are exposing fraud. So let's check this out.
Financial crimes enforcement network for whistleblowers that can actually be compensated if they come forward. Why wasn't this done before? It seems like a no-brainer.
I don't know, Joe, but it's very exciting. I think it's going to be a great way to ferret out waste, fraud, and abuse, starting in Minneapolis, which has been ground zero. So we are encouraging whistleblowers who know about fraud, people who are stealing from the American taxpayer, to come forward. at Treasury, we're setting up a website, and we will be giving rewards up to 10 to 30% of the fines that we levy.
Treasury's financial crimes
That's right,
enforcement.
boys. Did you hear that? 10 to 30% of the fines that they levy.
Cut the check.
Cut the check. That's right, Nick. We want to get the checks. Get that check, baby. Get that check. Case of checks. But I was super excited because obviously we already have our video that we've put out on the fraud and the Smalley fraud that we found here in St. Louis. But just like I talked about, on Tuesday, we're going to uncover additional alleged fraud in St. Louis. We're going to submit all this to their website. And hopefully, we can get a little payday. Maybe we can get some new equipment for the stream. I have a piece of equipment here that I've been trying to hook up for a minute. Oh my gosh. My thing's going crazy. Let's see if I can get this. See if I can do this without destroying everything. But I got this. Someone sent this to me. I don't know who sent it to me. So if you sent it to me, thank you. An MPK mini keyboard with these pads on there. So, and some dials. So I want to get it hooked up to OBS. And we're trying to get some more microphone equipment for filming. We want to get a DJI camera as well to make it easier to film. So again, if you're just joining in, be sure to like the stream and throw in a super chat below. I want to see some super chats. Gotta support the stream. If you want to keep the stream going, you gotta support the stream. Gotta show the love in the chat. Through the super chats.
Also, one time for Ben & Jerry's half-baked ice cream.
Oh, Ben & Jerry's. I mean, if you knew about Ben & Jerry, Nick, you probably wouldn't eat their ice cream, but I won't spoil it for you.
Well, I know they're like super live, and the one walked the other way. He left over some Trump shit. It's now just Ben's or something. I don't know.
Crazy,
but
right?
I don't care. Half-baked is half-baked.
Yes. Yeah, let's see some flags in the chat. I don't see Warren here, but doesn't matter. What we're going to do, we're going to sing a little happy birthday to War Dog, too. We'll send him this clip later. Ready, Nick? Don't stay on mute this time. I can see if you're muted. You better unmute. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear War Dog. Happy birthday to you.
Unreal.
2 original OG supporters of the stream.
Unreal.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Gotta do it for the viewers. Gotta do it for the viewers. I appreciate your guys' support. I think that deserves a super chat. Someone better throw in $5 for that. I deserve that. Where is the War Dog? That's what I'm wondering. Someone text him. Send him a text. I texted him earlier with the link, but he might be, he's got kids, got sports. It can be a busy time of year. But we just saw Senator Hawley, if you're just joining us, we watched Senator Josh Hawley completely obliterate the Attorney General, Keith Ellison from Minnesota, just grilling him and absolutely grilling him with evidence, the 54-minute recording that they took quotes from, and completely just made him look guilty. And again, he took $10,000 of money for his campaign, for his fund. So crazy stuff, and it's nothing new that we haven't seen. I saw some folks in the chat talking earlier, hey, we got pedophiles running the country. We got fraud rampant. People can't even buy houses, and yet these Somalians are taking hundreds of $millions to Al-Shabaab, to terrorist groups. What the frick is going on? And it really has to do with the oligarchy, with the elites, as we like to call them, tech elites, big elites, whatever you want to call them. There's different names for them, but there's that shadow government is what some people call it.
Pedophiles.
Yeah, the shadow government pedophiles. Those are the people that are really running the world, puppeteering in the background. And it's unfortunate. That's why folks like us need to grassroots rise up, push back against the establishment, because the establishment are the ones who are letting this happen. We need regular folks like us to stand up and push back against these establishment Republicans. Maybe you're a Democrat, you need to push back against the establishment Democrats. Whatever side you're on, you need to push back against the establishment and question the establishment and say, hey, does that pass the sniff test of regular logic? Because a lot of times it doesn't pass it. And so if you just use some common sense, use some rational thinking, you can really see through a lot of the stuff that they're talking about. Like we were talking about earlier, the wins that President Trump is talking about are real wins, but you also have to acknowledge the losses that we're having as well, too. So just got to have, again, common sense. You got to think with your head, which a lot of people aren't doing nowadays. And so next, we're going to get into the Pam Bondi hearing. But before we do, once again, Rumble Wallet. They can freeze your accounts, shut off your cards, lock you out of your own money overnight. Banks don't protect you. They control you. That's why real financial freedom starts with ownership. Introducing Rumble Wallet, a non-custodial wallet built for the people who refuse to give up control. With Rumble Wallet, you don't just buy digital currency like Bitcoin and Tether. You can own Tether Gold, real gold on the blockchain. Through Tether Gold, you can get direct ownership of physical gold bars, each one fully allocated, verifiable by serial number, purity, and weight. This isn't paper gold. This isn't an IOU. This is real gold without bank vaults, storage fees, or gatekeepers. You can buy, sell, or move it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when traditional gold markets are closed. And if you want, Tether Gold can be redeemed for physical gold. That's power. And when you support creators on Rumble, you can tip them directly using Rumble Wallet, peer-to-peer and outside the banking system. No permissions, no middleman, no cancel button. This wallet is yours forever. Thank you, Rumble Wallet. Thanks for supporting the stream. If you haven't yet, go download Rumble Wallet. Be sure to tip us through Rumble Wallet. We have the tip button that just went live down below. See, we got some new people joining the stream. If you're just joining the stream, smash that like button. Share this out with your group chat. Share this with a couple of friends. We're about to go into the Pam Bondi hearing debacle that happened this past week. And so we want to get as many people in here. I want to get some reactions to folks, see what they think about this. And so the sniff test, the Joe Biden sniff test. That's right. I don't know if you guys... Yeah, smells real good. Hey, kid, you smell real good. I don't know if you guys seen that video. It's one of my favorite GIF, however you say it, to put out there of Joe Biden, is that him just sniffing that kid's back. Ridiculous. Now, I didn't see Joe Biden on the flight logs, but man, I got a feeling, man, that
Dude, Joe Biden's dead, bro.
What?
It's in the fucking shit. They killed him in 2019. That's insane.
You're talking about that.
Dude, they're eating babies and Joe Biden's dead. It was a fucking actor as president. People just going on with their everyday lives.
I don't know. There's no.
The phones are ringing. We can't go protest.
Yeah,
they sent the mail out. We got to answer the phones.
There's no evidence of that though, and so we don't want to spread the theory yet. But what is
also
concerning,
real quick, per the chat, I would also bang Pam Bondi
with 6 or less beers, is what someone said. But the wild stuff that we have seen are things people point out, and some have been debunked as being AI. Some have not. But what looks like the mask on Joe Biden. So they say they see a mask. There's some of them are AI generated, just so you guys know. So you got to be careful. You got to filter through and you got to look for yourself. Some of them are AI generated, but there are ones that I haven't seen be debunked yet, but I've and the one that has really, I don't know what the right verbiage is, but kind of shooken everything up is how tall the double was for Joe Biden. And I just want to say, too, just so everyone knows, every president has body doubles. This isn't something new. This isn't something unique for Joe Biden. This was not something unique for him. Every president has body doubles. It's just like, it's just like an actor. There's a reason they have body doubles. There's ways to confuse. There's diversions, things like that. And then we don't want him to talk anymore. We want him to stay in the back room. Let's get him, maybe on some life support, and we'll take over from here, buddy. So lots of theories going around, lots of interesting stuff. We need some hard evidence. I really want someone to have a breaking story that can come out that can really break that wide open so that we can really talk about it more in depth. But it's pretty wild stuff. I mean, if you just pair it with other stuff that's gone on with the Biden administration, with Hunter Biden files, all these different things that also coincided with Joe Biden's brain dead self, can't talk, can't debate, those types of things. And the reason I'm not inclined to believe that he died in 2019 is because of the debate that happened. I think that was the real Joe Biden, just how bad it was. So I don't, that's why I'm not inclined to believe that theory, but I'm not inclined to not believe that he didn't become, lethargic and they had to replace him at some point. So very, very interesting. Yeah. Why can't we see the client list? That's what I want to know too. And if the Democrats are so gung-ho on stuff from Trump, why didn't Joe Biden release it? The excuse that they gave me that I hear from Democrats is the reason that they couldn't is because it was held up in court. There's all these things. Yeah, right. You can give an executive order. They had control until we took control back. They had control. They could have made it happen if they really wanted to. They were just scared. Now, Pam Bondi had a disastrous hearing that we're about to see. But one thing that she did do that was interesting to me is that she tracked the search history of the unredacted files of Congress. So whenever someone from Congress went in to search the unredacted files, they could see what they searched for and who was searching. And it came to light that a lot of the Democrats were searching for themselves to see if they're in those unredacted files. So it's just the tip of the iceberg. Just what Stay 100 just said there in the chat. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Well, Harrison Smith from InfoWars, if you guys don't know Harrison Smith, he made that video that we were watching, that 15-minute intro clip that we watched about Netanyahu and Israel and Zionism at the beginning of the show to do the pre-roll. That was from Harrison Smith. And he also did a good breakdown and response and reaction to her hearing. It's a 3-minute clip that we're going to watch here, and I wanted you guys to react. They do, I think it's only 2 minutes. They go into like some advertisement at the end, and so as soon as they start that, we can just stop the clip. But I don't know when that necessarily starts. But here's, again, before we start, Pam Bondi talking and testifying in Congress and being grilled with questions. And this is what she had to say.
Over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee will be in order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas, Miss.
She kind of pulled a Age Skrillex there. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What does the Dow Jones have to do with Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators? Probably more than you'd like to think. Again, she's asked about Jeffrey Epstein. What's going on with that? Are you going to indict any of the co-conspirators that are revealed in these documents? And her answer is, guys, the Dow Jones is at 50,000. Now, that seems crazy. That seems off the wall. It's why people are laughing, why she's freaking out. But let's just put this in like familial context. Okay? This is, the wife going to the husband and going, what are you going to do about our daughter being raped? Our daughter was raped. What are you going to do about it? And the husband being like, look, I'm not worried about that. I'm making so much money right now. My job is so good. I make so much money. Now, that conversation would make no sense until you realize the daughter was raped by the boss. Then it all comes full circle. Then you understand, oh, okay. See, the Dow Jones being this high is because the people that were associated with Jeffrey Epstein haven't been threatened with arrest, and so they haven't crashed the market in response yet. See, I think that might be what she's saying. I don't know if that's how she meant it. That's how it came across to me, is you want us to go after these Jeffrey Epstein people? Do you want to lose your retirement accounts to do it? Are you willing to crash the world economy and drive us into total depression to do that? Because that's what's going to happen, because the people in the Epstein files are the most wealthy and powerful people in our country. So if they go down, guess what they take with them?
That's it. Yeah, so wow. The Dow Jones is at 50,000, okay? The S&P is at 7,000. What do we have to worry about, guys? Nothing. Ridiculous. And I think that Harrison Smith put it perfectly there. What does that have to do with what you're there for? You came to Congress to testify about the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and instead you're pivoting, trying to make it a Trump propaganda spiel. That's the only verbiage that I have for it. It is propaganda. Because propaganda is just trying to make you, just distract you and trying to take this focus off. And I've heard a couple different things. I saw a clip from, what's his name? Andy Frisella, Andy Frisella here from St. Louis from First Form. He talked about on his Real AF podcast about it. And so I would encourage you, go watch that. We're not going to watch the clip, but go watch it. He talks about it pretty in depth, really well. But what we see here from Pam Bondi, before I get too off topic here, is, I mean, it's been incredibly polarizing for the conservatives, for the Republican Party, because some, after this, they still wanted to blindly support her no matter what out of loyalty to the administration, while those who have a brain like us, we recognize just how terrible that was. How combative, how evasive she was, and pretty much how unhinged some of her responses were, and she clashed. It reminded me, I thought it was interesting to see the Hawley clip where he's grilling someone from the left, and then we had the left grilling Pam Bondi, and you could see kind of both of them falling apart in the midst of the chaos there, but it sparked a lot more backlash. I mean, we got prominent voices on the right who are talking about the issues that she created from this testimony. Fractures are happening within the right. People are, it's similar to the Bad Bunny halftime show, dividing people just like that. So thanks to Harrison Smith for breaking that down. Really appreciated that. And I had to get something funny for you guys, some comedic relief to all this. And so let me know what you guys think about this. This is a clip from Pam Bondi as well.
How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even?
The Dow right now is over 50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. That's what we should be talking about. The Dow right now. S&P at almost 7,000. The American people need to know this. Need to know how is the Dow.
Let me address the survivors because that's
how is the Dow.
How is the Dow?
How many of
It's 50,000. How is the Dow? It's 50,000. There we go. We don't care about the Epstein files, guys. We're so freaking rich. We don't care about the pedophiles running the government. We just care that we're making money. This sounds exactly like the boomers. They're trying to, and this is what young people we don't accept this. We can't accept this illusion that they're trying, this wool that they're trying to pull over our eyes right now. They're trying to make us think, they're trying to gaslight us for one, and make us think that there's nothing in the Epstein files. If you guys remember, Pam Bondi said there is nothing in the Epstein files. There's nothing to be had. President Trump said there's no files, there's no names, nothing left. Kash Patel, there's nothing left. What the heck are these 3 million files then? Where did these 3 million files come if there's nothing going on? If there are no files? I don't know. And then we saw, if you didn't, James O'Keefe, if you've seen his undercover video, if you haven't, go search for it on your own. But James O'Keefe has undercover video from an investigation that happened months ago. Pam Bondi saying there's thousands of videos of little girls with powerful men. Pam Bondi said that on undercover video and then came to the public and denied any of that. And then, of course, after James O'Keefe released the video, she starts pedaling back and says, and they had to come up with the new stuff. And then the Epstein Files Transparency Act was passed. And then what do you know? Their hands are tied. Now they got to release it. But we're not going to release everything. We're going to redact stuff. We're going to put stuff out, realize, oh crap, we put out too much stuff about Netanyahu, so let's pull it back. Oh crap, we didn't mean to do that. Let's pull it back. Thomas Massey even identified folks that they redacted their names that shouldn't have been redacted, and he got them to pull those redactions. So lots of, again, the sniff test, the Joe Biden sniff test. That's what we're going to call it. I love that. The Joe Biden sniff test. Does it pass the Joe Biden sniff test? Doesn't pass that Joe Biden sniff test to me. There's more to this story. We all know. Pizzagate, Comet Pizza, the Pegasus Museum. If you don't know about the Pegasus Museum, you need to Google it. The Pegasus Museum is a building behind a home in Washington, D.C., where they believe they have a kill chamber there for the sacrifices, for the Moloch-worshipping pedophiles, for folks like Bibi, folks like Nancy Pelosi, folks like Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, maybe even Joe Biden, maybe even Donald Trump. We don't know yet, but we have all this stuff coming out. We don't know what is true and what's not true because we've been lied to so much. Not just about this. We've been lied to about so much else. 9/11. Been lied to about that. October 7th, since we're about to talk about Israel, we were lied to about that. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch the Prime documentary, The Bibi Files. The Bibi Files gives a great, unbiased opinion on Benjamin Netanyahu, how he was losing power and how he had to go to the far right, to the extreme settlement supporting Zionist party to get support in his parliamentary system so that he could stay in power. And it also uncovers lots to do with donations that were given to him through the Adelsons and other powerful Israeli or Israeli-American donors, donating tons and tons of merchandise, champagne, cigars, all kinds of stuff to him. So I highly recommend that you go and watch that, especially since we'll be covering some of the stuff on Bibi today and on Israel today that we'll be talking about. So I'm glad that I see that you guys appreciated that clip of Pam Bondi, the song. Everyone's laughing. Yeah, it rhymed too. That's right. It's pretty funny. I saw it. I was bursting out laughing when I was listening to that song. Saw the clip. So now shifting gears to our last headline, our last segment here before we go into our next part of the show. Going to the international stage, like I was saying, where some pretty big moves are happening right now. We've got the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, visiting the U.S. this past week for, I believe, the 7th time he's visited the U.S. since President Trump's new election to his new, what do you call that term? And he was rushed, actually, to the U.S. this week because of urgent talks around the Iranian, situation, I guess is what you could call it. And it's really, the reason it's an Iranian situation is because of Benjamin Netanyahu. For 20 years, he's been saying to us that Iran has nukes, Iran's going to have 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 nukes. For 20 years, he's been telling us the same thing. And he's not done yet. He's still telling us the same thing. Iran's apparently about to have nukes. They're about to attack. They're about to attack Israel. There's an imminent threat. That's what he's been talking about. So he met with President Trump behind closed doors for about 3 hours. Flew here for a 3-hour meeting with President Trump. And while he was here, before he met with President Trump, Israel signed on to the Board of Peace. We'll be watching a clip from Jared Kushner on the Board of Peace later. But again, he hammered the Iranian threats in his meeting. The nuclear program, ballistic missiles, the proxies. But what came is that there's no definitive deal, is what we'll see Netanyahu talking about here, that came from the talks. Let's go ahead and watch this video. This is in Hebrew, but there are English subtitles for us. So be sure to catch the subtitles here as we throw to this clip. Let's check this out.
טוב, אני סיימתי עכשיו ביקור קצר אבל חשוב בוושינגטון, בשיחה עם ידידנו הגדול, הנשיא טראמפ. יש בינינו קשר מאוד הדוק ומאוד אמיתי ומאוד גלוי. כמובן השיחות התמקדו בכמה וכמה נושאים, אבל למעשה במשא ומתן עם איראן. הנשיא חושב שהאיראנים כבר למדו אם יש להם כסף. אני חושב שהתנאים שהוא יוצר, בשילוב העובדה שהם בוודאי מבינים, הם טעו בפעם הקודמת שהם לא עשו הסכם, שיכול להיות שבצעו התנאים להשגת הסכם טוב. רוצה לשמוע את דעתי. אני לא אסכים מכם שאני הבאתי סקפטיות כללית לגבי הסכם כלשהו עם איראן, אבל אמרתי שאם אכן יושג הסכם, זה חייב לכלול את האלמנטים שחשובים מאוד מבחינתנו, מבחינת ישראל, לדעתי לא רק ישראל. זה לא רק הגרעין, זה גם הטילים הבליסטיים, זה גם השלוחים האיראנים. זה מוצתה השיחה, הייתי אומר. אם כי גם נגע כמובן, גם בעזה וגם באזור כולו, וגם בדברים כלליים אחרים. בכל אופן, שיחה נוספת עם ידיד ענק של מדינת ישראל שבאה כמובן.
Well, we saw there Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, responding after his meeting with President Trump, talking about everything that we just said. He was pushing hard for this Iranian threat, this Iranian war, as he calls it, and he's saying, oh, it's not just Israel that's at a threat. This is a bigger threat. It's bigger. It's for everyone. America should be concerned because Israel's first. That's what he wants. Every country wants their country first. And if you don't think that, you're a moron. a complete moron if you don't believe that. I'm American. I want America first. Screen's black. What? Someone said screen's black. Oh, okay. Maybe it was just for a second. But yeah, Netanyahu wants Israel first, and President Trump is also supporting a Israel first agenda, even though he said he promised America first. Let's watch this clip of what President Trump just said when he was, again, this is funny because in this press conference that he's talking has nothing to do with Israel. This was about the EPA deregulation that happened, the biggest cuts in history, $1.9 trillion of cuts that they were talking about. And instead, this is what President Trump decided to talk about. Let's check this clip out.
I can tell you he's been a very good wartime prime minister. He's been very strong. We've worked with him very well. We had tremendous success with Iran and everything else we've done. And he really has been. He's been, extraordinary as far as a wartime prime minister. Not easy. And, you have a president that refuses to give him a pardon. I think that man should be ashamed of himself. A pardon over this trial that's going on. The president of Israel, the primary power he's got is the power to give pardons. And he's not, he said he's given it 5 different times, but he doesn't want to do it because I guess he loses his power. I think the people of Israel should really shame him. He's disgraceful for not giving it. He should give it. But Bibi's been a great wartime prime minister, and I've been the best friend to Israel I think that they've ever had. I can tell you he's been a very good wartime prime minister. He's been
the best friend that Israel's ever had. And as Mark Levine put it, the first Jewish president. You saw there from President Trump himself talking about how he's been the best friend to Israel and how the president of Israel needs to be ashamed for not pardoning Netanyahu. So President Herzog should be ashamed for not pardoning Benjamin Netanyahu. That's what President Trump is saying. Instead of dealing with all the problems that we have, instead of dealing with gas prices that are out of control, the housing market that's still out of control, the jobs are coming back, but people are still struggling in other areas. Inflation's going down, but people are still struggling in other areas, groceries, things like that. And this is what he decides to talk about. Pardoning the Prime Minister of Israel, who is guilty on the international stage of war crimes against the Palestinian people. And it can't be debated because we can see it with our own eyes. We have the most vision into an unbiased vision too, because we can see just the parking lot that Gaza is now. Now, there is propaganda from both sides. Absolutely. There's propaganda from Hamas. There's propaganda from Israel. You can't believe everything that you see out there. But we do know Gaza is a parking lot. You can look at Google Maps and see it. It's no question about it. And now that they've made Gaza a parking lot, they want to rebuild it. Before we go into the next clip here, I want to say smash the like button. I see we had over a dozen people watching the stream, but we haven't gotten any likes on the stream. Only 2 likes. So smash the like button right now. On the stream. Hit that like button down below. That helps us reach more people with the stream. We want to make sure that people are hearing the truth, that they're not being hit with mainstream media narratives, that they can hear what's going on in the real world. So smash that like button. Also, be sure to drop a super chat below, throw a donation below to support the stream, support the production. And if you really want to support us, go in the description and click that PayPal link and give us a donation through there, because all the donations we get through Rumble, we have to share 50-50 with Rumble. But if you can donate through the PayPal, we can get 100% of that. So, Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu President Trump, all talking about how great Israel is, the best thing ever, been the greatest friend to Israel. Gaza's a parking lot, and now we've got this board of peace that they've started. Well, like we just said, Israel has now joined on to this board of peace. And if you don't know, if you weren't here when we were talking about the board of peace, as we were watching it unfold at the World Economic Forum, like we talked about, didn't pass our sniff test. Now we know why it didn't pass the sniff test. Because the same people that destroyed Gaza are now going to be on the board to rebuild Gaza. How does that make any sense? That is going to be one of the main first projects of this board of peace, is to rebuild Gaza. If you don't believe me, let's take a look at this clip. This is Jared Kushner, the son-in-law, the Jewish son-in-law of President Trump, talking about the board of peace at the World Economic Forum. Let's take a look at this clip.
So we did a master plan. We brought in, I think, Yakir Gabay, who's one of the most successful real estate developers and brilliant people I know. He's volunteered to do this, not for profit, really because of his heart. He wants to do this. And we've developed ways to redevelop Gaza. Gaza, as President Trump's been saying, has amazing potential. And this is for the people of Gaza. We've developed it into zones. In the beginning, we were toying with the idea of saying, let's build a free zone, and then we have a Hamas zone. And then we said, you know what, let's just plan for catastrophic success. Hamas signed a deal to demilitarize. That is what we are going to enforce. People ask us what our plan B is. We do not have a plan B. We have a plan. We signed an agreement. We are all committed to making that agreement work. There's a master plan. We'll be doing it in phasing. In the Middle East, they build cities like this in 2-3 million people. They build this in 3 years. And so stuff like this is very doable if we make it happen. Rafah will start with. This will show a lot of workforce housing. We think this could be done in 2-3 years. We've already started removing the rubble and doing some of the demolition. And then New Gaza. It could be a hope. It could be a destination, have a lot of industry, and really be a place that the people there can thrive, have great employment. Once this starts going, we think there should be 100% full employment and opportunity for everybody there. And we have a lot of data on what can be, but we think that this really gives the Gazan people an opportunity to live their aspirations. But it all starts with security, and it all starts with governance. Final note I'll just say on the Board of Peace, which is that all the lessons we're doing is we're basically studying the best practices from all over the world, and we're watching who does education the best, who does healthcare delivery the best. All of these things it's not secret IP. All this is IP that the Board of Peace is going to make public, and we want to encourage all the countries to be able to follow these best practices. A lot of the things that President Trump is doing in America, if they're working, we should all be copying them. If we find what's working in other countries, we should be copying them too. And so what the Board of Peace will have the ability to do if we're successful with Gaza is really show how do you do peace implementation, which is something that when we got this deal done, we didn't really find too much expertise or know-how on how to do it. So as we're creating this system, hopefully it's something that we can just document these learnings and make them available to all else who want to use them in the future. So demilitarization, this is something we're starting now that we have a new government in Gaza. This government will be working with Hamas on the demilitarization to really take the principles that were agreed to in the document to the next phase. And hopefully that will be successful. Without that, we can't rebuild. So
there we go. I just wanted to play that. I couldn't find a shorter clip. That was the shortest clip that I could find of his talk, but I just wanted to play that first part where he was showing that. I didn't tell you that either. Sorry. The first part where he's showing the plans, because he's showing how those plans are laid out with, and you heard what he said, his own words. We've got this master plan. Everyone's saying this is your plan A, but what's your plan B? What's your backup plan? We don't have a backup plan. Hamas signed an agreement to demilitarize, so this is what we're doing. We're pushing it forward. And I got to tell you, I don't know if that's going to work necessarily. I don't see Hamas demilitarizing completely. I think that maybe their government of Hamas might say they're demilitarizing, but there's definitely going to be factions of folks. There's also Hezbollah and Fatah, which are two other terrorist groups in the area, in Lebanon and in the West Bank. And so there's tons of other opportunity for this, conflict to continue in different ways. It's just that you can see Israel and America don't want to consider the people of Gaza. They want to say, hey, Too bad, so sad. No plan B. We're building our smart city. Get over it. Deal with it. Israel's going to be on the board, and Israel's going to rebuild Gaza now. And the whole deal of Gaza, I don't know if you guys know the history of Israel and what's gone on, but back a few years, I can't remember the exact date, but it's a few years back, more than a few, but maybe a decade ago or less. Hamas, well, really the Palestinian people in Gaza wanted to hold their own elections. They wanted to govern themselves. And so Israel pulled out of Gaza completely. They pulled all of their troops out of Gaza, and they said the Palestinian people can govern themselves. And then the Palestinian people elected Hamas, unfortunately. They elected Hamas to be the leading political organization in Gaza. And, you know, terrorism reigned not just on the Israelis, but terrorism reigned on the Palestinians. The Palestinians were not big fans of Hamas either, and they were also persecuting and terrorizing their own people. And so that's been going on, happening for years. But Gaza has been under its own control. They've been ruling themselves. Hamas has been taking care of their own people. You could say taking care of their own people. And I just lost my train of thought because I just saw this a great chat from Lies That Bind. Jared, we think this really gives the Gazan an opportunity for people to live their aspirations. Newsflash, the Gazan people are dead. Exactly. That's what we're talking about, and that's one of the reasons I'm kind of disgusted, I guess you could say, or taken aback really by this whole situation. And that's why I wanted to really set up the history for everyone, because Gaza is supposed to be governing itself. Israel is not supposed to have any rule over themselves, over the Gaza area. But now they're trying to take it back, I guess you could say, through the Board of Peace, under the guise of peace, under the guise of what the Jewish people would call tikkun olam, is called repairing the world. Under this guise, they're going to rebuild their new smart city. We're going to have these tech oligarchs be involved. Tech is very big in Israel, if you don't know. And so there's going to be so much stuff that's going into this city that's going to be AI, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff that we probably don't want. That's what's going to be happening here. So super wild, crazy, and kind of unbelievable stuff happening with President Trump backing Benjamin Netanyahu coming to the States for his quick visit and saying they did not have the best meeting about Iran, but they were able to have some talks. And hopefully he's not able to talk our president into going to war with Iran, because I don't want these young men dying for Israel. We die for, it's terrible to say, but if you're going to make a sacrifice, it's for America, not for Israel, because it's America first, not Israel first. The American people come above the people of Israel. And if you don't like it, you can go home. Go back to your country. You can go to Israel, Randy Fine. You can go to Israel, Mark Levine. You can go to Saudi Arabia, Sneeko. You can go anywhere. All these people, it doesn't matter. Go back where you came from. You can go back to Somalia, Ilhan Omar. Take your brother husband with you. Go back. We don't want you here. H-1B visa holders, we don't want you here. Go back to India. Get out of Nick's apartment complex. He doesn't want you there. We don't want you there. Leave MasterCard, all right? Get out of here. Go back to your country.
Same for the DoorDash driver that ate my fucking ice cream.
Yeah. This Indian DoorDash driver ate Nick's ice cream. Denied it. Nick had to call the store. The store said, yeah, that guy definitely ate your ice cream. Thanks. Shout out to the Lion's Choice store there for keeping it real and helping a real Wang F out. We'll say that. helping them out, getting them the ice cream back. Well, that's the last headline that we want to cover. We're going to go into our next segment here. Before we go into our next segment, I want to say, if you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus, no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin-free and mold-free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. And a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. And then a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble. Wondering if it's actually worth it? Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. 1775 coffee. Go get some of it. Support them for supporting us. Thanks for the ad, 1775 coffee, for supporting Straight Talk. And if you want to support Straight Talk, go ahead and throw a super chat down below right now. You throw a super chat or donation, it'll pop up right here. You can throw anything in there, whatever you want. Something about Israel, something about Netanyahu, something about President Trump, the Pegasus Museum. Let's see it. I want to see some donations start coming in as we go to our next segment here. Support the stream. We want to keep this going. We're trying to work it out so that we don't have to get support from you guys. But for right now, we rely on your support. And if you want to support us even more, like I said, hit the subscribe button on Rumble. Subscribe, I think, for $5 a month. And you can also go to the description. Our PayPal link is there. We get 100% of the proceeds from PayPal. So go and donate there. We get 50% of the proceeds from the donations in Rumble. Appreciate you guys for supporting the stream. And again, like this stream, share with 2 friends right now, because we're about to get into the best part of the show, everyone's favorite part of the show, my favorite part of the show. It's the left-wing lunatics. So I'll just shut up and let's play the intro here.
They're shouting loud but making no sound, chasing their tails round and round. Oh, the chaos never quits. Left-wing lunatics, they're flipping, they're tripping, they're losing it quick. Left-wing lunatics, the world's a certain push into the quick trail.
Oh yeah, my left-wing lunatics. We got any left-wing lunatics in the chat? Let's give it up for the left-wing lunatics. They keep us laughing. They let us have a good day. They put a smile on our face, okay? They let us know that we are not as dumb as we think we are. There's people that are much dumber. So we got some great clips. I'm excited to react to some of these clips. Nick picked out some clips actually this week as well. So let's check out this first clip of the left-wing lunatics. Let me know what you guys think in the chat.
But I have a kid. If I don't, and these people are having their children taken. But what about my kid? I need to get
Look at this.
Then what happens to my kid? I can't do it. But you can if you could just move out the way. You're not going to. How is this a peaceful protest if there's nothing to do? No, it's not.
How do you as white people feel about stopping a black woman from going to work?
Oh no, not work. I care so much.
So you don't care about stopping black people from going to work?
Look at this line that you guys are causing. I'm not causing no problems. I'm not trying to. We're just trying to leave. But I have a kid. If I don't, and these people.
Man, you see, that lady looks like Cozy Bailey, doesn't she, Nick? Man, I mean, I'm just gonna I'm gonna put it back up really quick, Nick, so we can see this. You see that lady right there? Man, we got these white liberal women. The white liberal woman. What's that, Nick?
I was just laughing at the the lady.
The white liberal women. You can't ever put it past them. You can't put it past the white liberal women. They're going to be out there on the streets protesting, getting in your way, blocking traffic, and then telling the black lady, hey, too bad, so sad. What about these illegal immigrants? Huh? What about that? And then when they're asked, that guy's asked, hey, what do you think? How do you feel about helping stopping a black lady from getting to work? He said, oh, no. It's so ironic to me how the left is so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's right on the tip of my tongue. They're just they're trying to indoctrinate us with this critical race theory and all these liberal ideologies that they hold to. And then when they're confronted by a black lady here talking about, what are you doing? What the heck are you doing? You're blocking me, a black lady, from going to work right now with your peaceful protest where you're blocking people. This is not peaceful, is what she's saying. And then you got this white liberal woman trying to educate the black lady on who is having a hard time, who's really, had a lot of hardships in their life. Hypocrisy. This is hypocrisy at its finest. Well, let's keep going with these left-wing lunatics. I loved that clip. Let's see what we got here, Nick. What do we? Oh, close to home, right? Close to home. Can you click on those pictures there? I can't read it. If you want to read it, you can, Nick. But on the same day that when they launched a kit celebrating a black woman, they told us we can't display our Black Lives Matter flag anymore that we've used since 2023. So if you don't know, St. Louis City Soccer Club, new soccer team here in St. Louis. We are so excited. We've been so excited. Me and Nick have been waiting 10 years for this when they brought the soccer team to St. Louis. We're big soccer fans. There's lots of soccer in St. Louis. Josh Sargent is a great player from St. Louis. There's been a lot of indoor teams in St. Louis. The Steamers, we got the Ambush. We've got a lot of soccer history here in St. Louis. I think the first World Cup victory against England was played in St. Louis back in the 50s. So lots of history here in St. Louis around soccer. But when you go to the games, you saw these flags. You saw that trans flag, that Black Lives Matter flag. You also even saw, until they started banning them, flags of other countries. Palestinian flags.
No, they still be having flags of other countries. Those are flags of the players.
No. They had other flags. They banned flags eventually of non-player flags. They were allowing people to bring in flags. There were people in the supporters section that were wearing Palestinian flags, and then they cut it out. They stopped it, and they said, you can only bring in we can only display flags of the players that are playing. So they stopped that. And then the next development of all this is that guy who wore the MAGA hat, which we didn't bring that up, but I think
last year this guy wore a MAGA hat and City threw him out of the game.
Yeah, so I know it wasn't just a local story that got a lot of attention. It definitely got a lot of attention nationally because he was just wearing a Make America Great Again hat into the stadium, and they kicked him out. And it is a private business. You can kick anyone out of your private business that you want to. These are the laws. These are the rules. These are unfortunate. I don't know if they're unfortunate or fortunate, how you look at it, but depends on which situation you're in and who you are. If you're the one getting kicked out or if you're kicking someone out. But he got kicked out for wearing this MAGA hat while they're displaying this trans flag and the Black Lives Matter flag right over there. He could look to the left and see it right there. Praise God. Thank God that they took this away. Get this transgender ideology out of here. Get this Black Lives Matter bullcrap out of here. We already know, it's already been proven that Black Lives Matter was a scam. All the leaders of it are being indicted and going to prison for scamming all the donors and buying luxury items, luxury vehicles, luxury handbags, mansions, multiple properties. So get this crap out of here. We don't want this here. We don't want this in St. Louis. We don't want this in our stadium. So I'm super happy that this has happened in St. Louis. Very, very grateful. What's the next clip we got, Nick? What do you got? What else we got on the left-wing lunatics docket or agenda, you could say? Well, he's be sure, if you're just joining us, all a few people are just joining us on Rumble, smash the like button. Throw in a super chat right here. It'll pop up. A donation will pop up right here. Want to hear from you. Let me know what you want to talk about on Israel. You can throw it up right here. But this is a clip that I was excited for Nick to see. Want to see your reaction, Nick? Yes, sir.
Getting on duty, baby blue beauties. Go ahead and lock me up, arrest me, but make it sexy.
What the fuck?
Did you guys see that? Did you guys just see what I saw? That's a police officer in San Francisco. He's supposed to be fighting off criminals. He's got to wrestle someone to the ground at some point. He's got to keep the crazy people from attacking the normal people that live in San Francisco still. And he's a fairy, for lack of a better terms. He's a flaming fairy, as we could tell. He took. Oh, gotta make sure to put my hands through my hair as soon as the song says "sexy." Gotta. These are the people that are in San Francisco, though. We got gay cops. We got Scott Wiener. Yeah, that's his last name, Wiener, who's trying to replace Nancy Pelosi for San Francisco for their congressman. He's gay. He's been in the gay pride parades wearing all kinds of disgusting attire that you would not want your children to see. That's what's happening in San Francisco, stuff like that. That gay police officer. They're pushing all this ideology. They are taking the rainbow from us, from Christians. And we're trying to reclaim that rainbow, because the rainbow, if you don't know, the rainbow came from God. It's a sign of a covenant between God and man that he made with Noah, that he wouldn't flood the earth, the entire earth again. And that's the sign of the covenant, is the rainbow. And these left-wing lunatics are stealing the rainbow and using it for their gay ideology. Not going to have it. We're reclaiming the rainbow. That's an organization, too, Reclaiming the Rainbow. Look it up. This next clip, Nick, man, I am excited for I'm excited for this. Pretty hilarious. Let's check it out.
Stay! You can control them?
No, that one. I brought my own. Mine's bigger.
Sycamore! Stay!
What the fuck?
Those are the left-wing lunatics. These are some more of those left-wing lunatic intimidation videos that they've been making. If you haven't seen them, going around TikTok or on Instagram or wherever you're watching your shorts or your reels at. We've got all these left-wing lunatics trying to post these intimidation videos saying, "Oh, we're going to come after you, ICE. Aren't you afraid of us? Look at us crazy left-wing white liberal women. Aren't you afraid of us? Be afraid, ICE. We're coming after you." Psychos. I mean, you can see it in the eyes. It's always in the eyes. Always in the eyes, these left-wing lunatics. Can't deny it. Well, it's been a great show, man. Such a great show so far. Really, really amazing. to see all the engagement, to see some new viewers, to talk about the generational run that we're having right now, our own generational run for the Straight Talk podcast. And if you were just joining us, you haven't heard about it, I'm going to be on Monday night from 4 to 6 p.m. Straight Talk's taking over a radio show here in St. Louis on Real Talk Radio Network. You can find it online. Just Google Real Talk Radio Network. Excuse me, got the hiccups. But on Monday night, taking over from 4 to 6 on Ryan Hines' show, I'll be broadcasting live from the Real Talk Radio studio. You can watch it online, watch the stream. Be sure to follow me on X. My X will pop up down here on the banner somewhere. It's at Isaiah Ascher. That's where I'll keep you updated. I'll post the links. Once I'm in studio, I'll share the links there so that you can watch the stream. They do have a Rumble channel as well that you can go follow so that when they do go live, and when I go live on Monday night with them, you can be sure to watch there. But again, that's 4 to 6 p.m. Central Time on the Real Talk Radio Network. I'm so excited about that. My first time hosting a radio show by myself. I've been a guest. As we were talking about the generational run, I've been a guest 2 times in the past couple weeks on the radio shows on their networks. And now the owners are asking me to guest host on the show. So very, very excited about that. Well, this is a different faith in the fire that we're going to be getting into tonight. Usually we look at some scripture, we unpack some scripture to encourage us to go throughout the rest of the weekend and to attack next week with some encouraging words from the scripture. But instead of me doing that, Wes Huff was interviewed by Sean Ryan this past week. They have a 3-hour interview. If you haven't watched it, highly recommend you go watch it. Wes Huff is one of the smartest people that I've encountered as far as it comes to biblical history, biblical archaeology, what's called exegesis and hermeneutics. Those are theological words on just how to extrapolate the text, how you read the text and interpret the text based off of its historical context. And you can contextualize the scriptures in the time and the area, the language, all those things. And so he's working on his PhD. He's most famous for his debate with Billy Carson, where he completely obliterated him. And he did it, and everyone said he did it so nicely. He was so cordial. He really shows the love of Jesus even in his debates. And so this is a clip from the Sean Ryan show that I wanted to share with you and talking about the gospel. And so I want to play the clip, and then I'll talk a little bit more after. But let's take a look at this Sean Ryan clip with Wes Huff. How long is this clip, Nick?
Like 4 minutes.
Cool. I'm going to try to run and take a leak while you're playing the clip, but let's check this out.
What do you think happens when we die? When you think of heaven, what is your imagination? What does your faith tell you? Where is it? What do we see? Where are we going?
Mm-hmm. Well, Paul says it is appointed people once to die and then the judgment. So I think, what's going to happen is we're going to be judged. Well, we're going to stand before our Creator, and there's going to be an instance of we are either, theologians sometimes describe it as being found in the first Adam or the second Adam. So Jesus is described as the second Adam in Scripture. And the idea is you're either going to be found in your sin and you're going to take the brunt of that, or you're going to be found in the covering of Christ and he's taken the brunt of that. So what we do in this life, it's not that, we punch our ticket. We say, Jesus, I believe in you. And then whatever we do after that doesn't matter. What we do actually does matter. We're not saved by our works, but we're saved for works. And those works can actually be an example and an outworking.
What do you mean by that? We're not saved by our works, we're saved for our works.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. So in the book of Ephesians, Paul writes, and he says that in chapter 2, he says, And you were dead in your transgressions and sins, in which you formerly walked according to the course of this world, according to the ruler and the power of the air, and the spirit is now working in the sons of disobedience, among whom we all also formerly conducted ourselves in the lusts of our flesh, doing the desires of our flesh and the mind, and were by nature children of wrath, even as the rest. But God, being rich in mercy, because of his great love, which he loves us, even when we were dead in our transgressions, made us alive together with Christ. By grace you have been saved and raised up with him, and he has seated us with him in the heavenly places in Christ. And he says that you are saved. So, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not of yourselves. It is not the gift of God, not of works, so that no one may boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand so that we would walk in them. So in other words, there's nothing you can do or I can do that is going to placate God. We're not going to be able to earn our salvation, because compared to the standard of the holiness of God, it's always going to fall short.
Mm-hmm.
We're broken, whether we realize it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And we're often, I sometimes say, worried about the evil out there when there's a lot of evil in here. And so what God has done on our behalf is through Christ Jesus, he has saved us. Like Paul says, that we are saved by faith in grace, and it's not works. So in one sense, the law is like a mirror. So when we see God's law and his holiness displayed in his character that calls us to righteousness, that calls us to do good things, that's like a mirror showing us how dirty we are. But we make a mistake when we think that we need to grab the mirror and wash ourselves with it. Right? That's not going to clean us.
Mm-hmm.
We need something external. We need to jump in the shower. That's what's truly going to clean us. The law has a purpose and a good purpose, and that's to show us that we're dirty. But it's through faith alone, in Christ alone, to the glory of God alone, that we're saved. That's something that he has done. We're saved by works, just not ours. Christ, who has done them perfectly.
So good. So good. This is Wesley Huff. If you're just joining us, this is Wes Huff talking on the Sean Ryan Show. They had a 3-hour interview this past week, talk about the book of Enoch, talk about so many other things that are within the Bible and discussions that Sean was curious about. And as you can see, what happens after we die, Sean's very curious. Sean is a Christian, self-professed Christian, believes in Jesus, believes he died for his sins, that he raised from the dead, and that he's going to heaven because of that belief. And so you can see him talking there with Wesley Huff about the Ephesians passage. And so I find it super encouraging to go through this Ephesians passage in the midst of everything that's going on in the world with chaos and, like we were talking about, ridiculous that we have pedophiles running the world at the highest levels. What's going on? There's no hope. That's what the world can feel like, and that's what the world gives you, is hopelessness. You are not fulfilled. There's nothing that you can do to fill yourself up. Like he said, the law is a mirror, and you can't save yourself with that mirror. And I wanted to talk about some of the verses that he read at the beginning from the Ephesians 4. It says in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 1, it starts, "And you were dead in the trespasses and sins, in which you once walked, following the course of this world, following the prince of the power, following the devil." That's what that means. The spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience. That's Satan, among whom we all once lived. All of us. That means everyone. Me, You, Nick, Mary, Jesus' mother, even his father, Joseph, King David, all these folks, even myself and yourself, we once lived in the passions of our flesh, carrying out the desires of our body and mind. And we were by nature children of wrath, is what it says. By nature. It's who we are. Because as Wes was talking about, Adam in the garden, that's where the original sin comes from. And we're all tainted with that original sin. As soon as you're born into the world of sin. This is Satan's playground that we live in. This is Satan's kingdom. It says that in the Bible. When Jesus is getting tempted, when he's in the wilderness, he sees Satan. And Satan says, if you bow down to me, I'll give you this kingdom. I'll give you this, all the lands of the world. And Jesus doesn't do it. That's because Satan is the ruler of the world right now. And if you don't understand that, then you're going to have a hard time understanding why these pedophiles are at the highest elite level. Why are they sacrificing babies to Moloch? Because that's the same thing that's been happening for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. You can read the same thing in this book. You just go to the beginning here in the Old Testament. You're going to read the same thing that's going on then is the same thing that's going on now. Sacrifices to Moloch, sacrifices to Baal, the exact same thing that's going on. And so that's why you have to look at it through this worldview, through the lens, through this worldview, using the Bible as your lens, using Jesus as your lens. Because we're all falling short. Like we were just reading, we're all sons of disobedience, among whom we all once lived in the passions of our flesh. But God. It's one of my favorite phrases. But God. But God, being rich in mercy because of the great love which he has for us. He loves you. Even when we were dead in our trespasses. So even when we're saying, screw you, God, I don't want anything to do with you, he still has great love for us, and he's still rich in mercy, even when you don't see it. Let's fast forward to verse 8 in chapter 2. This is the point that Wes was making there. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and it is not of your own doing, not of your own works, but it is a gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one can boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand, that we should walk in them. And so, like I was saying, this, as we can see from Ephesians that Paul's talking about, this is where the prince of the power is reigning of all the spirits and working in the sons of disobedience. He's still working to this day. It says that the devil is prowling. It's like a lion prowling around looking for someone to devour. And so you have to be on guard, is what it says. And so it's only grace, by God's grace, the sacrifice that Jesus made for us. That's the only way we can have this right relationship with God restored. Nothing that we can do. We're not good enough. When you get to the gates there, and God says, why should I let you into my kingdom? There's nothing you've done good enough. Nothing. Doesn't matter how much charity you do. Doesn't matter how many good deeds you do. Doesn't matter how good you think you are. There was nothing you can do to get into heaven. It's only through the sacrifice of Jesus. Only by his grace. Only through his sacrifice. And it's not too late for you. If you're listening, listener, viewer, it's not too late. When Jesus was on the cross, he had two men on either side of him. Two thieves, it says. These are thieves, criminals who are on both sides. One of them mocked Jesus. And then the other one asked that he would just be remembered when Jesus goes into his Father's kingdom. He said, remember me, please, Lord. Just remember me. And Jesus told him, today you will be with me in my Father's kingdom, because of his faith, because he believed. He had a life of works that said that it's nothing good according to the world. He's being hung on a cross for his crimes. He's obviously done some pretty bad stuff. Sitting there next to Jesus on the cross. And just because of that statement of faith, Jesus says, you will be with me in my kingdom. And so I hope that can encourage you that in the midst of everything with the Epstein files, in the midst of uncovering child sacrifice and all these terrible things and the victims of the Epstein files and how they were abused, if you don't ground yourself in God and in Jesus Christ and in his word, then it's easy to be drug away, to say, the world's terrible. Look at all the bad that's going on. And then you get into the mindset of, oh man, there can't be a God because look at all these bad things happening. And that's just malarkey. God says, he's pretty explicit that bad things are going to happen. It even says in the New Testament in James, I'll read this to you if you don't believe me, in the book of James, which is funny because King James, just a little fun fact, King James renamed this book to James. It's Jesus's brother that wrote this book. He was the leader of the church in Jerusalem, and his name was actually Jacob. And so that's just a little bit of church history there, one of the things that got changed in the Bible because of King James. But here, James 1:2, it says, count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds. For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. And so there we go. We aren't promised a perfect life. We're not promised no trials, no suffering. We're not promised that. We're going to experience some suffering while we're on earth. But we have hope, we have grace, we have mercy, we have love from God that he's given to us through his son Jesus and that sacrifice. That is the ultimate sign of love, is laying down your life for someone else. And that is what Jesus did, lay his life down for humanity, living a sinless life, didn't deserve it, and yet he took and bore our sins so that we could have eternal life. Well, that's what I wanted to leave you with an encouraging message, with some encouragement from the Sean Ryan show there with Wes Huff, and to encourage you to open up your Bible. If you haven't, start in the book of John. It's a great place to start. It's the Gospel of John. And then you can go from there. You can read Acts, which is the Acts of the Apostles. That's just, after Jesus is no longer here, he's ascended into heaven. This is what happens in the founding of the church. Read that. And then you can read Paul's letters after. And you can get through the whole New Testament. And it's pretty easy once you start reading and you realize, oh, these all connect together and it's all flowing. It's pretty easy to start reading and understanding the flow of the story. And so I highly recommend start in the book of John. Get in God's word. Get to church this Sunday. If you need a church, message me. I can help you find a good church. And if you're in St. Louis, you can come to church with me. You can just message me and you can join me and my wife. Come sit with us. You can join Trey, you join Warren. We all go to church. Me and Trey go to the same church. Warren goes to a different church. But any church you can get to this weekend, please get to it. We can't be like these pedophiles. We can't be like these demons that are running our country. We have to ascend. This is the year of ascending, and part of ascending is not just financially ascending or our looks ascending, but it's spiritually ascending as well. And so you need to go to church. You need to find a church, get plugged in, and start learning from the Bible. Because everything in there is applicable to your life, I promise. I have studied it. It's what I went to college for. I've read the Bible multiple times completely through. I've read it in Hebrew. I've read it in Greek. I've read it in Latin. And it is so powerful how so many words in this book can find its way to apply specifically to the situation that you're in. So I encourage you with that. Pick up a Bible, get to church this weekend. God has a plan for you. He wants the best for you. He loves you, and he wants a relationship with you. Well, what a great show. We went for 2 hours today, just like we always do. I said it was going to be a short show, and again, it wasn't a short show like I always end up doing a full show. I want to thank you for staying with me for so long. Thank you, viewer. Be sure, smash the like button right below if you're watching on Rumble. Click that follow button on Rumble. We're trying to hit 100 followers on Rumble so that we can unlock our creator program. We're at about 40 right now. And so hit that follow button. You can also find me on X, YouTube, and then really go find me on TikTok. It's at Straight Talk Isaiah. It's the same as the Rumble. It's the same as these below right here. At Straight Talk Isaiah on TikTok. Because I've been going live there throughout the week because it's just really easy to go live and have some conversations. I'll do some Ask Me Anythings. You can get in the chat, ask me some questions. I do a lot more engagement with the chat over there on TikTok because I don't have a plan. I just go live and I talk with people. And so come over there. Maybe we can even have people join in and get a debate going on TikTok, something like that. But be sure, go follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Rumble. Support the show. Support a true patriot like myself. Support Nick. Before we wrap up, we got to thank our premier sponsors. The most premier sponsor of the show is Fuegos, Amigos, Salsa. Right now, I want you all to go, pull out your phones, go to your computer, whatever you need to do, your iPad, whatever you've got, go to fuegosamigos.com right now and order yourself a jar. Fuegos Amigos, we believe that our great salsas are more than just a taste. They are a way to nourish our bodies, our community, and our future. Our vision goes beyond creating bold, vibrant flavors. We've committed to supporting health, wellness, and connection within the communities we serve. Each jar of salsa is packed with fresh, natural ingredients designed to fuel your body and bring people together in a meaningful way. Fuegosamigos.com. Go grab your jar right now. This is the mango habanero with the orange label. They recently got bigger jars for the same price, so you get more salsa for the same price. Go grab your jar right now. Local pickup only. Nick might be able to ship you one if you're not in Missouri. Just got to talk to him about it. Go on the website, engage with him, and he can see if he can get you one. But Fuegos Amigos salsa, this is the only salsa that I eat. Put it on my eggs, put it on my quesadillas. Go to fuegosamigos.com right now. Grab yourself a jar. Like I said, like, subscribe, follow us, donate. We've got the PayPal link in the description. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the show. Appreciate everyone watching. Thanks for joining in on episode 17, the Friday the 13th episode of Straight Talk. And remember, Christ is King. America first. Not Israel first. America first. See that flag. And remember, freedom isn't free. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to watch me on Monday night on the Real Talk Radio Show, 4 to 6 p.m. Tune in there. Follow me on X to stay up to date. See you guys next week.